Yo, what is up, everybody? So today we're going to be going live, and Rico should be coming in here any minute soon. So we'll get to talk to him. We're going to do some free agency stuff, draft stuff. We're going to talk about the Senior Bowl today. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. What is up, Hassan? What's up, Peyton? What's up, Reggie? Reg, how you doing, man? What's up, Muhammad? What's up, Hassan? How are you guys doing? What's up, Shrihan? So I know I'm mispronouncing that. But make sure you guys follow Shrihan and King Sean on Twitter. Great guys. Okay, so let's get started. We'll talk about some free agency picks. And also, if you guys did watch the Senior Bowl today, let me know any guys you liked. I saw King Sean talk about, who did he talk about? Fulton, I know the wide receiver slash running back from UCLA. And then Fitzpatrick also was a beast today. What's up, Armand? Yeah, I mean, the Senior Bowl was pretty good. I wish it would have been nice to see Mac Jones play. Obviously, we're probably not going to try to pick him, not a very mobile quarterback, but, it would have been nice to see him because we would be in that position to get him. Hail to the FT445. There wasn't too much that you missed. There's a couple standout players. Amari Rogers played really, really well. Kellen Mond actually played a really good game. I think he was like 13 for 25, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Walker running back, Michael Carter, I think, or Walker, I forgot his name. He played pretty well. Any other guys that I'm missing that played pretty well? Jamie Newman played terrible, though. I mean, that's a guy a lot of people were talking about possibly going after in the draft in one of the later rounds, but he looked absolutely awful. I know he didn't play this year, but that's a huge no for me. Kellen Mond would be, I would say he's an intriguing option if we go the veteran route in free agency or via trade, but uh yeah, Jamie Newman was just absolutely terrible. Any mid-round receivers that could develop into a number 2 or number 3 for Terry. I'm not sure exactly like what rounds these guys are gonna go in, but like I said, Amari Rogers was really good in the slot today. Palmer was really, really good as well. Um, what's his name? Fitzpatrick was good, and then Powell from Clemson's also solid. Nico Collins, I think he's probably going to be an earlier round pick than I don't think he's going to be there in round 3. Who knows there? Any other guys you guys think of? Let me know down in the comments. Yeah, Amari Rogers is pretty good. And Surratt, he's solid. I didn't see much of him in the Senior Bowl today. Not sure if he played, and yeah, Smith is solid too. There's a lot of, that's the thing. I'd rather not draft a guy in the first round unless somehow Jalen Waddle, Jamar Chase, or Devontae Smith somehow, and it's not going to happen. But if they fall, then you take them. But I would rather go for someone in the mid rounds because the success rate in the mid rounds is pretty good for receivers. So you've seen it in the last few years with, I mean, a second round pick isn't too much of a mid round, but you got DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, Chase Claypool, a bunch of late round guys that you can get. So let's talk about some free agency targets. Sorry, I got this, got the wrong screen pulled up. Okay. So let's first talk about what position do you guys want to talk about first? You guys want to go ahead and talk about receivers? Yeah. Kadarius Toney I love him. I again though rather not take a receiver at 19. We'll see what happens. I think if we attack the position in free agency, like get someone like Curtis Samuel, maybe even someone better like Kenny Golladay, then we're probably not going to draft the receiver in the first round. So yeah, let's talk about receiver first, which is our biggest position in need on the team, along with quarterback and linebacker. So let's go ahead here. Look at the free agent wide receivers, and this is a really, really good class. So yeah, and then Rico says he's coming soon. So let's see. A lot of people are saying Curtis Samuel, Corey Davis. Corey Davis, I mean, he would be a good number 2, but I think he's going to want number 1 money. I think he's going to get a lot of money. I think he's going to get more money than we think. But Curtis Samuel would be good. Let's see. So let's go ahead and look at the free agents. So let me sort this by yards so you guys can see. Okay, so Allen Robinson, obviously probably the biggest name in free agency.
Lifelong learner.
Well, sorry about that. Allen Robinson, Corey Davis, Marvin Jones would be an intriguing option, especially if we went after Matthew Stafford. Marvin Jones would be not very cheap, but he would be pretty cheap, and he would be that number 2 receiver, or at least a solid veteran that can get at least 500 plus yards at the minimum. Yeah, I want to stay away from Juju, though. I agree with you guys there. What's up, Daquavis? Corey Davis and Samuel. I think that would be expensive, but I'm fine with either one. I would like Allen Robinson too. If we go after Stafford, or if we even go after Derek Carr, Dak Prescott, somehow get Deshaun Watson, we're probably not going to be able to go after Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, even Kenny Golladay. We're probably more likely going to go after someone like Curtis Samuel, Marvin Jones, maybe Juju. That's John Kime's been hinting at that for a while. Hopefully not, but he's probably not going to be a top 3 like in this free agency class. He's probably going to be, I would say, like the 4th highest paid. I think Allen Robinson's going to get more money than him. I think Chris Godwin's probably going to get more money than him. And then Kenny Golladay might also get more money than him. So I think we might end up getting him. We'll see, though. What's up, Ali? You get what you play for, so why not? I mean, yeah, I agree. If we go after someone like Matthew Stafford, though, we're not going to have too much money to play with. Or I guess Matthew Stafford's contract isn't that bad, but still, we're probably going to have to save money for Jonathan Allen extension, Daron Payne, our whole D line in general. So drop some under the radar guys at that wide receiver position that you would like to go after. Someone said John Ross, Christian Mill. I mean, John Ross would be. I mean, I definitely don't want him to be the biggest biggest name wide receiver that we sign this year. But I would not be mad with him. What's up, Talon Ho? I would not be mad with him at all. How do you feel about getting Corey Davis and John Ross in free agent? I would be pretty happy with that. Just depends again on the contract. Someone said, how much do you think Galladay would want? I would say 15 plus, I think, at least. The wide receiver market's been crazy. I think I can't remember who, but I know a couple have gone over $20 million. And Kenny Golladay, he does have some injury issues, but he's a really good receiver. And that would be another. The thing is, that's why I don't necessarily want to stick with Kyle Allen and Taylor Heinicke as our starters, because I would be okay with it. I wouldn't be absolutely pissed about it. But you do want, the free agent wide receivers. Allen Robinson isn't really going to want to come here if Taylor Heinicke's our starting quarterback. But maybe if Matthew Stafford is our starting quarterback, he'll be more likely to come here. We'll see about that. Also, guys, at the end of the stream, we are going to go through, I don't know if we're going to go through Senior Bowl highlights, but we'll go through some of the 1v1s, wide receiver versus DBs, and look more at Amari Rogers, at Josh Palmer, at these mid-round guys that we could get, and I'll let you know any guys that I really, really like. Okay, so let's see. Any other free agents? Tim Patrick wouldn't be bad. Keelan Cole would be okay. Let's see. Any other guys? AJ Green's a guy that might be. Cam Sims is a free agent this year. I want to bring him back for cheap, but I think if we can bring him back, that would be nice. Antonio Brown's a free agent. Again, that's probably not going to happen, but there's a lot of big name wide receivers in free agency this year that we could take a look at. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's see. Zach Pascal, yeah, Corey Davis, Marvin Jones, Will Fuller. I wouldn't be pissed with Will Fuller, but I would be cautious just because he's very, very injury prone. He's very injury prone. He just had the PEDs. So he would not be my number one option. I wouldn't be totally upset with it, but I would much rather go after another guy. And something that's interesting, if you guys listen to John Kime podcast, there was this cap guy on his podcast, and he was saying that Jonathan Allen could get over $15 million a year, which would be I thought it was going to be a lot less, and we'll see. I know everything isn't about sacks, but I think just because he's gotten not too many sacks, I think this year he had like 2 or 3. I think that'll bring down his market value a little bit. I want to hear what you guys have to say about that. Yeah, King Sean said, "Dang, 15." Yeah, a lot of people think that's too much. Let's see. Sorry, we would have crazy wide receiver depth: Terry McLaurin, Corey Davis, John Ross, Cam Sims. Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't keep all those guys, but because I mean, you usually keep 6 receivers. I mean, Reggie, I wouldn't. I don't know if I would move. Depends on who we pick up. If we pick up a couple big name guys, then yeah, I would be fine with going after letting Cam Sims walk. But I think Cam Sims as a solid veteran um is okay. Or as a solid like veteran rotational receiver is okay. Yeah, a lot of people um think that's a lot, and it is. And then Sheriff, he was saying that it's probably going to be around 15 mil, which 15 mil for Brandon Sheriff honestly is not that bad. I especially this guys is the year in my opinion to sign big name guys, because a lot of guys are probably going to get a little bit cheaper deals this year because of the cap going down. But the cap is going to start to go way up in the next few years. So if you can get them cheaper for now, it's going to help you in the long run. And there's going to be a lot of guys this year signing a 1-year deal. We'll see though. And then Rico's coming in here right now. So yeah, Jonathan Allen at 15 mil is a little because if what's up, DMV Sports Zone? And guys, after the stream's over, make sure you guys check out his channel. Had a great interview with John Keim, the best Washington football team beat reporter, in my opinion. Go ahead, check that interview out. It was a really interesting interview, and talked about some free agent wide receivers we could go after, including Juju. He also talked about, which I thought was interesting, and I won't spoil too much of it, but he talked about we could look at getting a tackle, and someone like Alejandro Villanueva from the Steelers would be an option at left tackle. And my conclusion from that is that they think that Sadiq Charles is a guard. That's my conclusion from that, because they did play him originally there. They played him originally there, and for the 2 plays before he got hurt. So I think they're probably going to go out. They could go after a left tackle, have Sadiq and Wes Schweitzer battle it out at that position. And if we somehow lose Brandon Sheriff, which I don't think we are going to lose him, but let's say somehow we do lose Brandon Sheriff, then you could have Sadiq Charles and Wes Schweitzer as your guards. Let me read some. Yep. Yeah. Again, make sure you guys check out DMV Sports on his channel. So we got Rico in here. What is up, Rico? Again, make sure you guys check out the channel.
Yes, sir. What's good? What's good?
Did you watch the Senior Bowl today?
No, I missed it. I've been busy all day.
All right. We'll look at some at the end of the stream. We're gonna look at some of the 1v1 like wide receiver and DB drills earlier in this week, and look at some guys we can target, like mid-round guys like Amari Rogers, players like that. So right now we're talking about free agency, and we'll move on to the draft in a bit. So I've asked you this question before, but for people that are new, what quarterback, like if you had one quarterback that you could pick for us to go after, again, that is realistic. Like Deshaun Watson is, I mean, it could happen, but
it's possible, but it's not. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. So what would be your number one?
I'm definitely team trade up for a guy in the draft. Even though I do like Stafford, but I don't love him enough to give up a first. And I feel like the bidding war is like it's just getting worse, it's intensifying. Like just the stacking. I think it's one team offering the first. Now there's probably a team offering the first and the third. Now it's like first and the second. I've heard there's like a bidding war going on. So I'm definitely more trade up for a guy in the draft because I feel like you have to give up way less value and they have a higher ceiling. Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, as much as I love Matthew Stafford and he's way safer, I want to go with that ceiling. I'm willing to take that risk because, I mean, when in doubt, doesn't work out, another 2 years, do it again. I feel like our team is good enough where if we miss on quarterback, at least you have Taylor Heineke or somebody that can come in and win you the division at least. I mean, you know me, I'm shooting for the Super Bowl. Doesn't work out, you know what I'm saying? We'll fall on Taylor Heineke. But I feel like Matthew Stafford is really good. But without unless we hit in free agency, unless we hit very well late in the draft, I don't feel like Matthew Stafford is winning you a Super Bowl in 2021 or 2022. I feel like we're going to be very relevant, but
yeah, and I think the only problem I have with trading up is that I feel like this year there's going to be so many quarterback hungry teams that it's going to take so much more than usual to
I
trade
can
up.
see that. I
It's
can
going to take
see that.
so much. Like I was looking at it's probably going to take you your first, another first and more to move up into the top 10, like where you're going to realistically be able to get one of the guys you want, because not only do you have to move up to a position where you're going to be able to jump some teams, but you have to be confident that you're going to be able to get your guy. Like if you want Trey Lance and you think that maybe at number 4 that Atlanta's going to take him, you can't really risk going to number 5, right? If you think Atlanta's going to take Trey Lance somehow, like that's probably not going to happen, but you have to think about those scenarios. So
yeah, I feel like they may let the board fall to them somewhat though. Like I feel like it won't be like a trade done before a trade done before the day of the draft. I feel like they'll wait like per round. Like okay, it's like round 6. Who's left? They'll look, and if Zach Wilson and or Justin Fields and Trey Lance are available, then they'll be like, okay, so it's it's 6th overall. Maybe we can, wait till 8. We'll see. I mean, it's just going to probably go round by round type of thing. I feel like that'll be easier. But I definitely agree. There's a lot of quarterback hungry teams out there. And this will be a little bit different than usual trade up scenarios for trying to go from outside the top 10 to within the top 10. Hopefully, a lot of them get their guys in free agency. We'll see. But yeah, I definitely agree. It's a way more QB hungry draft season than normal. And I kept trying to say it may be like 3 months ago, and people were like, nah, this team has that, this team has that. And I was like, I don't know, Detroit, I don't know, so, and ended up being that way. And I'm sad because I really didn't want it to be. I didn't want to be right.
yeah, here's my take on that. I rather not go draft, but if they have a guy they really like, I have zero issue with them trading up to go, because there's really no price. Like, if you have a guy you really like and you think he's going to be your franchise quarterback, I'm fine giving up 2 first-round picks for it. The guy has to be, like, he has to be, you have to make sure you hit on that guy. You have to make sure you develop him right because, obviously Haskins had his mistake, his flaws, but if we could have developed him better, he probably would have still been on the team. Obviously, there's some things that it was just totally on him, but
agreed.
He like Louis Riddick.
We didn't give our 100 and back into him. You could tell when Ron Rivera took the job, Scott Turner took the job. They were like, we'll see with Haskins, but like if he were coming out this current draft, we wouldn't have taken him, type of thing. Like you could tell they inherited him. They didn't necessarily want him. And I agree wholeheartedly with that. Like, I mean, even though I love Trey Lance, if Ron Rivera and Scott Turner feel like, the Zach Wilson or Justin Fields or some other random guy like Jamie Newman is the guy, take him. I'm not that arrogant to where I'm like, nah, we got to take Trey Lance or nothing else. But I just feel like Trey Lance and Zach Wilson are the answers. But I definitely agree. Like, if they just love somebody super like Jamie Newman or for some reason Derek King or Mac Jones, and they feel like they can make it work, and this is going to be the guy they put their 100% effort into, and even when he's making mistakes, they're patient, and it's like, we'll just figure it out, keep trying, we'll get you weapons and everything you need, then hey, let's do it. Like, I'm down for either one.
And you have to make, like, because the thing, like, if you look at Haskins, like, Louis Riddick, who is a huge fan of Haskins, he said, I really, like, when Washington drafted him, he said, I really hope that he doesn't play at all in his first year because I don't think he's a guy that should be playing in his first year. So if we draft someone like Trey Lance, I don't think he should be starting right away. I
Agreed.
don't.
Agreed.
You probably want Kyle Allen or Taylor Heinicke, maybe at earliest he can start after whenever our bye is, if we're
Yeah.
struggling, or maybe just pull whatever Miami did this year and go ahead and do that. I'm more the veteran route and maybe go well, it depends. I would go after Stafford. Also, I mean, Dak would be good too. I mean, it's a little unrealistic if they don't if they're probably going to re-sign him, but if they don't, you're not going to have to give up anything for Dak except for the contract. But I mean, every quarterback that you have, that you're like these big name quarterbacks are going to cost a bunch. Deshaun is cheap this year, but after that, it's 40 mil plus. Stafford's going to be cheap for 2 years, but then you're going to have to decide if you're going to pay him 40 mil plus. So that's the thing with these quarterbacks. And if you can get Dak, I personally would be okay with signing him. And I think that would be one of the better options. What do you think about Dak?
I think Dak is a top 10 quarterback. I think Matthew Stafford will probably be in the conversation of top 10 quarterback if his teams were better, if he had the same team that Dak had as far as receivers, offensive line, like the past 3-4 years. It's the money thing. It doesn't bother me is probably too harsh of a connotation. Because I prefer draft, but I do like those veteran guys. I just feel like it's going to be harder to build around them because, I mean, they're going to eat up so much cap. And then, say you sign Dak for over $30 million, then we're already talking about possibly not being able to keep one of the defensive linemen. Maybe two of them has to go or something like. So we start having those conversations. And at the end of the day, Dak gets you more wins than Jonathan Allen gets. But I would prefer to, try to have a quarterback on a cheaper contract. That way we can hopefully, if Trey Lance and Zach Wilson ends up being anywhere near as good as Dak or maybe even better, now you have that quarterback and Jonathan Allen and those guys. But I definitely understand with how our team is built, ready to win now. I'm not mad at a free agency move. Trade for Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott. Again, Dak Prescott's a top 10 quarterback. So that's a good move. It's just how will we be able to build around them as far as the future goes, like this free agency, the next one, things like that. But also signing somebody like Dak may attract more free agents, kind of like the Deshaun Watson effect, where you get Dak, maybe Corey Davis, Allen Robinson, whoever are willing to take less money because they know that the burgundy and gold is now built to win a Super Bowl. They'll probably charge us less per year just off of there's an honest chance of winning a Super Bowl, and players will take slight pay cuts at hopes of having a really good chance of winning a Super Bowl because it's hard to come by. It's easier to get the big money than it is to get a real honest chance of winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I know people love Taylor Heinicke and Kyle Allen, but I don't think these receivers, Allen Robinson, I don't think they're going to be lining up to catch passes from them. I think so. That's the thing with that. I mean, if you want to attract free agents, you're going to have someone besides Taylor Heinicke. I'm talking about wide receivers. You're going to have someone besides Taylor Heinicke and Kyle Allen in your room. And again, if you're drafting, that's going to be later. So it's not going to attract the wide receivers until the year after that.
Allen Robinson, hey, we think we're going to get Trey Lance, so come to us real quick.
Yeah. Hey, but I think the only thing with us, though, is that you might still be able to get someone like Curtis Samuel, who's in that second tier, because he did play with Kyle Allen and Taylor Heinicke before. So maybe he likes them and maybe he's fine with them. I hear a lot of people in the chat are talking about Derek Carr. What's your thought on him, and what would you give up to trade for him?
Well, first of all, I wanted to say we're lucky because we already have our receiver one, which is what teams struggle finding. That's what we've struggled finding for many years. So we have the luxury of we don't need to go hard for an Allen Robinson. It'd be nice if we can get him for cheaper, but we can get a Corey Davis for cheaper or a Curtis Samuel that already knows the Scott Turner offense for cheaper. We don't, and we can still have a really good receiving core because we already have our number one guy. Also, I'm not a big fan of Derek Carr. I mean, I did that one season he had, I think it was 2-3 years ago, where he was playing almost like an MVP. He was leading the MVP race. Then he got hurt, and he just hasn't been the same. I'm not a big fan of Derek Carr. I prefer to And I also feel like with how good he's been, even though he's not good enough to meet my certain threshold of what I accept for quarterback play for us. I feel like we're too Super Bowl ready to go with like a certain level of guys and below. And he's not there, but he's also good enough and has put up enough stats to where he's going to ask for big money. He may be asking for the same money Matthew Stafford's going to ask for, and I just feel like that's not worth it. Maybe if Derek Carr were, potentially Teddy Bridgewater cheap or like a Tyrod Taylor cheap, maybe, then we can argue Derek Carr versus Tyrod Taylor versus Teddy Bridgewater. But I feel like Derek Carr, the biggest problem I have is that you're talking Derek Carr, Deshaun Watson, Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott making all similar money. That's my biggest problem with him. I definitely think he's not worth that.
Yeah, and what I'll say last about the quarterback position, if you're going to get someone like, obviously, if you get Watson, he's going to, it's not going to happen, but if we do, he's going to be your franchise quarterback for 10 whatever plus years. If you get someone like Stafford, if you get someone like Carr, you're probably definitely with Stafford. He's got 4 or 5 years of average of plus football. I mean, I think he's got 2 more years of, top 10, top 12-ish quarterback play, but after that, he might be good. Who knows? But you're still gonna have to think about the future. So maybe if you trade for Stafford or if you trade for Carr, maybe you draft a guy in the 3rd and the 4th round to develop for a while, and maybe he sits behind these guys and he can develop it. And then right when Stafford's looking like he's going downhill, you can go ahead and let him go or trade him, and you have a guy ready to play. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think it's either trade up for quarterback, or if you get one in free agency or by trade, you draft a quarterback. Unless it's Deshaun Watson, you draft a quarterback later in the rounds, like maybe depending on how it falls, maybe like 4th, 5th, 6th round, somewhere back there, type of thing.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go a couple different positions. What besides wide receiver, what do you think like our biggest position in need is in free agency in particular?
Linebacker, please get Levante David. I don't care. I saw on Spot Track that his market value is estimated to be somewhere around the 15 million range. Do that. Throw all of that, please. Levante David would make our defense elite. He would bring basically what we have been missing in the hopes of Reuben Foster getting healthy. He would literally bring that exact impact, ability to cover. He would be, it would be strange because he would be our best Mike linebacker, but his coverage ability would also make him our best outside linebacker, our best Will, Sam. So we could just move him anywhere. And so, yeah, Levante David, big time. I would throw, even if he's asking for more than that 15 million, I still do whatever we can to convince him. We have the best front four in the NFL. I feel like that should help bring him to us. And then especially if the Buccaneers win a Super Bowl, maybe he can be like, all right, I already got my ring. Let me go get my money. And because I'm pretty sure he'd be more willing to go elsewhere if he wins the Super Bowl, rather than like they make it to the Super Bowl, they don't win. Now he's like, oh yeah, we got to run that back. So he'll be more likely to sign with the Buccaneers. So I'm kind of rooting for the Chiefs just naturally because I prefer to Pat Mahomes to win over Tom Brady. But if I'm thinking burgundy and gold wise and what's more likely to get Levante David to us, even if it's only like a slightly better chance, if the Buccaneers win, that makes it slightly more likely that Levante David comes to us. And that's my biggest. I feel like that's a bigger need than receiver in my opinion. Because again, we just need a wide receiver 2. We don't need a wide receiver 1. So receiver is an underrated need that probably enough people aren't necessarily talking about. But like, man, I think Levante David would change this defense. So many plays that Cole Holcomb didn't make, John Bostic didn't make, Kevin Pierre-Louis didn't make. And I like Cole Holcomb and Kevin Pierre-Louis are our best 2 linebackers now. But Levante David is a top 3 linebacker in the NFL. He would change our defense completely, like just by himself.
Yeah. What's up, Burgundy and Gold fan all day? He's the man. Make sure you guys check him out. Great Washington football team YouTuber as well. And yeah, I think linebacker is one of the biggest needs as well. I don't know. I keep debating this. I think Levante David's the best linebacker in free agency, so I would like to get him.
Easily.
I also really like some of the linebackers in the draft, which I wouldn't mind at all going after. Let's say you somehow sign Dak Prescott, right? Then in the draft, you could go after and get someone like Jeremiah Uso Koromoa at 19 if he's there, or Zaven Collins, maybe you trade back to 24, get Zaven Collins or something like that, and get the linebacker in the draft as well. I think that's a good idea because Cole Holcomb is our best linebacker, and then after that, KPL is solid, but
He's
Bostic,
pretty
don't really like
decent.
him.
Oh,
Any
like
of
yeah.
these other guys, not that great. So I think Cole Holcomb's, I mean, and KPL is a free agent too, so you only really got one keeper linebacker on your roster right now. I think they're going to keep Bostic. I do, but he should not be getting as much playing time as
Yeah,
he
no,
does. Like he
no.
almost never leaves the field. He's just terrible in coverage. He's an okay tackler, but
He's
I
good
hope.
depth,
What?
but he's good depth. But like you said, as many snaps as he gets, it's out of control. He's on the field way too much, and teams clearly target him. If he's covering the tight end's getting the ball. It seems like they know pre-snap.
Yeah, exactly. And so if you can get that linebacker in the draft, because here's the thing, if you go after Dak or if you go after someone else in free agency, you're not going to have enough money necessarily to pay Levante David probably,
Mhm.
because you're going to have to probably address some other needs. So then you can probably get that linebacker in the draft. But I'm fine either way as long as we address the position. I think you get one of those linebackers and you're good. Sean, we were talking about Stafford for a while. I personally would be good with giving up a first round pick for him, but it's not. We just need to make an upgrade at that position. That's my only thing. I really don't want to see our training camp like worst. I know a lot of people like Taylor Heineke and stuff, but if our training camp quarterback roster is Taylor Heineke, Kyle Allen, Steven Montez, and somehow Alex Smith, I'm gonna barf. I'm gonna barf.
That is terrible. But one thing that I just thought about, it's a little bit of a tangent, but like I feel like we have the luxury of like we don't need to exactly hit one particular thing. Like normally we're like, oh, we got to get specifically this guy, specifically this guy. The reason that we're having these fun debates about trade up for a guy in the draft or take a quarterback for agency or take a guy and trade is that we have so many great pieces that we're not used to necessarily having like the past 10 years. We have like dominant edge rushers, number one receiver, great coaching up and down. So it's like when it comes to filling out the rest of our team, we can get creative. We have so many options because we're versatile because our team is really great in certain areas already. And it's not like we're building from the ground up. So, I mean, whether you get Dak, whether you get Stafford, whether you trade up for a guy, whatever combination we do, I feel like whatever plan of action they choose, we can make it work and win this NFC East next year and for years to come, just off of the fact that we have so many great pieces already in place. And most importantly, we have great coaching and the training staff is really good too. Finally.
Sorry, I was muted. Someone asks, when do the Cowboys have to tag or pay Dak? I think it's like 1 or 2 days before free agency starts, like a couple days before they have to make the decision, and or it might be before that, but Dak has to sign the tender at some point, and if he says I'm not going to sign this, they're probably not going to franchise tag him. So we'll see about that. I think I don't know if they're going to be able to because I feel like if they don't get a deal with him, if they don't get a deal done with him this year and they franchise tag him again, then I think he's going to be like, hey, I've played with you guys. I've been on your team my whole career. I've given you everything to you guys, and you guys are paying Jalen Smith, Zeke, DeMarcus Lawrence, Amari Cooper. You're paying everybody except for me. So if they franchise tag him this year, I think he's done with them. I really do. Even though he loves Dallas, I just think he's gonna be done with them. So, last position, what do you think about our offensive line? Do you think John Keim talked about this on DMV Sports YouTube channel? He said that they could possibly go after a left tackle, someone like Alejandro Villanueva. What would you think about that?
Yeah, I like our offensive line enough to where if we had to go into next season with this exact starting offensive line that we have currently, I'd be fine. But I would like to turn some of these guys like Wes Schweitzer into great backups if possible. Like, I mean, I feel like quarterback, wide receiver 2, linebacker, and free safety are bigger priorities. But if we're able to solve all of that and first, and then still have money or whatever, find a guy in the draft to if Cornelius Lucas is a backup tackle, we have potentially one of the best backup tackles in the NFL, arguably the best backup swing tackle. Same thing with Wes Schweitzer. If Wes Schweitzer is a backup guard, that's the best backup guard, swing guard in the NFL. And then also Brandon Sheriff, you re-sign him, he's due to miss 3 to 5 games a season. So Wes Schweitzer is ready to plug in for that spot anyway. So yeah, I mean, I like Larry Warford, who opted out. He went to the Pro Bowl 3 years straight, and then this year he opted out. So that's the only reason he probably didn't make it 4 years straight. Plus the Saints released him anyway. They cut him as a cap casualty to be able to sign Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. So I would love a Larry Warford or a Joe Thuney at guard. Both of them are probably going to be asking for somewhere around $15 million, similar money to Brandon Sheriff. And then also, yeah, there's a few tackles out there that if we can upgrade the tackle and guard position and move our current starters to backups, we have a really good offensive line. Really, really good.
I'm personally I'm fine with our guards just because you have Sheriff and you have Schweitzer, but you also have Sadiq Charles, who I think by them saying that they are gonna target a left tackle, or by Keim saying that, I think they think that Charles is going to be a guard. So let's say you have Sadiq Charles at left guard. I think he's going to be solid. You have Brandon Sheriff at right guard, and you get Alejandro Villanueva at left tackle. That means you have Lucas and you have Wes Schweitzer as depth, which would be amazing.
Ridiculous.
Right
yeah.
And Ismail, in his second year, he's going to get better and better. So you would have really good depth there. That would be amazing, especially from whatever quarterback we have. Yeah, Armin, if he's healthy, he's going to be good. And that's the thing with him. I mean, we thought the off the field things was going to be the issue, but it's really his health. I mean, he got hurt like 2 or 3 times this year. So let's hope that he can be healthy. Let's see, any other free agent.
He played like 2 snaps. Didn't he play like 1 or 2 snaps? I
think he got hurt on his second snap.
That was crazy, man. That was really sad.
Yeah. Any corners you like in free agency?
There's like some cheap options, like a William Jackson that may be pretty cool, or yeah, I think that would be a solid pickup just because like Ronald Darby and Kendall Fuller are great as long as things are in front of them, but they're just not athletic enough. It doesn't matter how smart you are. If receivers are really good route runners and they're just more athletic than you, they can beat you deep occasionally. So like I love Ronald Darby and Kendall. I want Kendall Fuller back in the slot if possible, so we can get another outside corner and like a William Jackson for like a pretty valuable pick, like as far as like how much he's gonna ask for, how much he's gonna give you on the field. That's great value. Patrick Peterson isn't as old as this. Every time I think about Patrick Peterson, I don't know why I think he's like 35 and above. He's actually younger than, I think he's like 31, going to possibly be 32 or something like that when the season starts. And he's still playing at a high level. He's going to be more expensive, so I'm not sure if that's worth it because we have other needs that may be more important. But like, yeah, I think a William Jackson is a solid pickup in free agency to add him to this cornerback room.
Yeah, William Jackson would be good. I mean, the thing is, like, I feel like we got good depth at that position. We just need a number one because I think Darby is good. Maybe he can be at one point if he, continues to develop a number one, but I don't think so. And Fuller, I don't think he's going to be a number one as well. So maybe you go for William Jackson, who this year was a number one corner. He was locking up all the number one receivers this year in the NFL. Maybe that was just a 1-year thing, but who knows? That could be solid. Desmond King also, he plays corner. He can play a little bit of safety.
Desmond King is really talented. It's just staying healthy. That's his only problem. Even coming out of the draft, I believe he played for Iowa. All the talent in the world, kind of like a Fabian Moreau coming out the draft. Just injuries set him back. And so, I mean, I didn't watch Desmond King this past year to know how he looked, but I know the year before that he started to actually show flashes. He just has a durability issue. But yeah, like you said, I agree. William Jackson and Desmond King are great free options. Take a chance at them being a number one guy, because I prefer Kendall Fuller back in the slot. It's just the athleticism just isn't there to compete getting down. I mean, we saw like the Detroit Lions game and other games this season when they target Kendall Fuller, when they literally attack him, it gets ugly because he's just not he's smart. Anything behind him and Darby is just, it gets ugly.
And Darby, I'll give him credit. He's been a lot better than Fuller on deep routes. He gets some pass deflections. I think Fuller's a little bit better of a tackler, but Darby gets deep a ton. I don't want Jimmy Moreland to start, but I think that he is way more suited on the outside than in the slot. That's where he played in college. On the outside, he's super quick. Got so many picks at JMU, so that's where I think he should play if he is still like a starter next year. That's where I would rather him play. And like you said, you can bring Kendall Fuller back in the slot. One more thing about free agency: do you want to replace Dustin Hopkins?
We need to at least bring in some competition to make him take his job more seriously. I mean, something. I would definitely be disappointed if we go into training camp and Dustin Hopkins is like the only field goal kicker out there and he's able to get complacent. We need to at least bring in competition. If it's not a replacement, maybe a potential replacement, at the very least competition, something. Because it's too nerve-wracking. It's too nerve-wracking. I don't believe he's like terrible, like a lot of our fan base says he is. He's not just like the worst out here doing it. But yeah, he at least needs some competition.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny. Like the first 4 games this season, you're just on the edge of your seat because you're just scared Haskins is gonna fail. And then the middle of the season, it was, oh shoot, every time Hopkins goes up for a kick, you think he's gonna miss. And then the last 4 games this season, oh, the team's punting. Steven Sims, please hold the ball. It was just like an evolution. Like there's always something in the season that you were just like, oh my, like Haskins in the beginning, like just please don't turn the ball over. And then it was Hopkins, don't miss, and then Steven Sims at the end. So let's see. Real quick, these are the free agent kickers this season. I want to look at the field goal percentage. So, the young Gook. Sorry, I can't pronounce his name, but the kicker from the Falcons. He's a free agent. He's a 95% kicker. That is really really good. I mean, if we had him last year, we'd have won a couple more games. I mean, Hopkins is a 79.4% kicker. So, young Crew or whatever his name is way better. Daniel Carlson from the Raiders, 94%. Santos from the Bears, 94%. Nick Folk, 93%. So, there's a lot of guys out there that you could go after. I just feel like the kickers a lot of the times, like if they're successful, they're just gonna stick with their team. I think that's what usually happens. But yeah, I mean, you can't be a kicker in the NFL and kick under 80%. Like that, he usually doesn't do that. So maybe you'll give him a pass. But if he starts out the year and the first 3 games of the season and he's not kicking well, then I think you gotta bring in another guy. That's my take on it right there. So
yeah, that's a great point. Probably give them the first few games of the season and then look, instead of going out and possibly over panicking too early in this free agency period. Make sure we prioritize the other positions and then worry about kicker later. Plus, if we solve the quarterback position, we won't even be in situations where Dustin Hopkins is saving us. Like, I mean, a lot of the games last season with Dwayne Haskins playing poorly, Kyle Allen having great moments and terrible moments within the same game, and then Alex Smith, it was just hard for us to put up points at a high level. I feel like if we solve the quarterback position, which I feel like we actually have a pretty good chance of doing that, I feel like whoever they pick, free agency draft, or trade is going to be the guy that solves it for us. I just have faith in this team. I believe in Ron Rivera's vision. then kicker won't be as important. I mean, we're going to need them to make kicks, but we won't be dependent on them to hit the game winner as consistently as we had Dustin Hopkins doing last season.
Yeah, and something else that we need to upgrade this season, or not even upgrade, but just find a guy. If it's on the roster, that's fine. But I mean, I just can't have Steven Sims returning punts and even Danny Johnson. I mean, I think Danny Johnson, when he did return, like when he actually brought it out of the end zone, he was pretty solid, but he didn't do that much. So our special teams this year was not very good. I mean, Tressway was solid, and I feel like our coverage was also solid, but we got no like positive yards really as our for returning. And also, Steven Sims fumbled it 2 or 3 times. Isaiah Wright fumbled it once as well. So, like I feel like, I mean, you don't want to necessarily do this like in the beginning of the season, but like I thought at the end, like when we were having must-win games, I was like, why not put J.D. McKissic out there? I mean, I feel like he
Just
would be
try.
super, super good. I mean, a lot better than Steven Sims. I mean, J.D. McKissic, a receiver slash running back, and he's just, I think he's shifty out there. But maybe I feel like they don't like. I don't think Rivera wants rookies out there doing it. But if they could find a guy in this year's draft, I would definitely try. Yeah, Kadarius Toney would be that guy. I mean, there's Amari Rogers too. But let's see. We're about to pay defensive guys these next upcoming seasons, so why spend? I guess that's true. I think we got to address our needs, but I mean, you could do that in the draft or free agency. Rico, what? So with our, if you, so Allen, Payne, Sweat, and Chase. If first off, do you think we're gonna be able to keep all of them? And if we're not able to, which guy would you move on from?
Man, this has been like it's been like a couple of weeks, and I still don't have like a definitive answer. I mean, is Ioannidis included? Because if it were before this past season, it would have been Jonathan Allen easily because he wasn't living up to the potential and expectations that we had of him after we drafted him. After he slid to us, people thought he was like the best defensive lineman in college football when we drafted him. He just had the arthritis issue. That's the only reason we got him so late in the draft. But this past season, it was him and Daron Payne were great. Jonathan Allen, I probably say, was the most consistent. Daron Payne had the biggest highlights and was able to actually get into the backfield pretty consistently. I mean, even Pro Football Focus loved Jonathan Allen. I think they said he was like a top 5 interior defensive lineman this past season or something like. At least like I think it was like from weeks 6 through whatever. It was like some random point in the middle of the season. From there on, he was like top 5 interior defensive lineman. So I mean, I guess I would have to pick Matt Ioannidis because I love his pass rush, but he's just not a great run stopper. So he's not the best. He's not the most well-rounded out of the 3. And also, you just can't depend on him health-wise compared to Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen, who are pretty much always there. I can't even remember Daron Payne missing a game. So if I had to choose, it'd probably be Matt Ioannidis. But it's crazy because if you would have asked me this a year and a half ago, I would have said Jonathan Allen in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's tough. I think they're gonna want to keep Allen, and I don't know if you heard this, but on Kime's podcast, he was talking to a cap guy, and I want you to guess how much he said Allen's gonna cost this year.
No, it's something expensive because is it like $12 million a year? Or is it more than that?
He said it could be similar to the Grady Jarrett deal, which was 17 mil a year.
Whoa, what? That's a
Yeah,
1
I
year?
hope it's not that, because that's and you got to think, and he said Chase Young's probably gonna be like 30 mil a year, which does make sense
I
because
guess that makes sense.
Joey Bosa's at 27 mil a year now.
Yeah.
So 3 years from now, but again, that all goes with the cap moving up. So it's
Yeah.
not going to be as much. It honestly, it's probably going to be like 35 mil a year at
By
that
then.
point. Like he's
Yeah.
going to be, whenever he comes out, he's going to be the highest paid guy in NFL history at the defensive end position. I really think
Mhm.
so. What's up, Philip B? How you doing, man? Um, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they do this. And all I'm gonna say is, I mean, don't let a guy walk in free agency for nothing. I mean, if you think the guy's gonna leave, or if you know you're not gonna be able to, um, if you know you're not gonna be able to get him, or if you don't want to keep him, then trade him at least for something. Townhill, thank you so much for the $5 donation. He said, when is free agency going to start? And we need to sign a free agent kicker to add pressure to D Hop. I hope we can get Koo. He's pretty good. Yeah, a free agency starting. I don't know the exact date, but I know it's like March, like in that early March range, like 10th, 15th, around them. I'm
Oh
gonna
my
look it
God.
up right now. And yeah, I think we gotta bring some pressure, bring some pressure on to Dustin Hopkins. We can't lose games because of our kicker every year. So I agree with you, and the kicker from the Falcons would be good. I'm gonna look it up right now, and let's see. But yeah, I know it's sometime in March, and I mean that's gonna be the busiest time of the year. So King Sean said March 15th. Okay. Legal tampering starts on 15th, and then I think 2 days later is when they officially sign the deals. So, but most of the deals are reported on the 15th, and then they can officially get signed 2 days later. So that's going to be an interesting time because not only are we going to find out answers about who we get and stuff like that, but we also get a hint of what's going to happen in the draft, like,
Yeah.
which is good too. So now let's kind of talk about some. I appreciate the donation, Town Hill. Thank you all, always coming in here. I see you on all Washington football teams YouTubers stream. So let's start talking about the draft. What positions, obviously besides quarterback, would you like us to address in, let's say, rounds 2 to 4?
Definitely receiver. It just seems like hitting on receiver rounds 2 through 5 have just been like, of course, people have missed, but there's been a lot of great receiver talent coming out late first to fifth round consistently. What's good, Scotty?
Yeah,
Consistently
what's up,
like the
Scotty?
past 2 years. I mean, receiver talent has just been, I wouldn't say easy to find because drafting isn't easy, but it's definitely way less of a a crapshoot than it's been, years prior. So I think the sweet spot for receivers is like the late first round to like fifth round. So I'm definitely down to use one of those picks on a guy because I mean there's a lot of talent out there. Then also, like you said earlier, there's linebacker talent in that sweet spot rounds 2 through 5, 2 through 4. Also, may be able to get a really good offensive lineman if we don't attack that in free agency. And yeah, receiver, linebacker, and offensive line, maybe even corner rounds 2 through 4 are probably the sweet spots, especially this draft.
Yeah. Brandon Dillman said O line, O line, O line. You can get receivers in free agency. I mean, yeah, I think O line would be good if you can get some depth at that position. Receivers in free agency. I mean, there's going to be a lot of free agent wide receivers. So I think I agree with you. We're going to be able to, um, get those guys. Peyton the Great said linebacker. King Sean said wide receiver. Um, Let's see. I'm trying to read some of the comments. Volpec said, I wouldn't mind Payne and Tim Settle if we can lock down Chase, Montez, Sweat, and Terry. Yeah, I mean, and the good thing about if we lose one of these interior guys, we have Tim Settle. We have Tim Settle, who is a good starter on most teams. So that's the good thing about him. Scotty, thank you so much for the £3 donation all the way in England, my favorite two Washington football team YouTubers. Let's go. G4 again, appreciate the donation, man. Always coming in here. I always see you in my streams, Rico stream, and always in the community. Help appreciate it a ton. G4 Life said, any word on the Washington next name? We don't got any word yet. All we know is that it's gonna remain Washington football team name is gonna remain for this season, and after that they're going to have a decision. So that's it right there. Again, Scotty, thank you. You're always in here. Appreciate it. So we're going to look at some Senior Bowl. Not this wasn't from the actual game, by the way. This wasn't from the actual game, but this is from the 1v1 drill. So we're gonna look at some of the 1v1 battles. So I'm gonna be in a different tab, so it's gonna be hard to read some of the comments, but we'll look at some of it, and I'm gonna leave it like this, so it's not gonna be all the way open. But this is Nico Collins versus Trey Browns, and we'll see some of these guys. There you go. Sorry, it's kind of laggy because I'm streaming, but Nico Collins is probably the, I would say, top. Sorry, it's lagging. He's probably the third best. What would you say? Is he the best receiver in the Senior Bowl besides Kadarius Toney? Sorry, I'm gonna pause it real quick.
Possibly so. From as far as hype goes before enter, because again I haven't watched it yet, but like going into the Senior Bowl, I would definitely say he's easily top 3.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not going to count Devontae Smith because he's there,
Yeah,
but he's not participating in any drills. Scotty said, "How about getting Kellen Mond in the second round?" I'm not sure what round he's going to be in, but he had a really good game today. He had a very, very good game today, and I would not mind taking a flyer on him or another guy in the late round. All I'll say is no Jamie Newman. I mean, if you watch that game today, that was probably I'd rather watch Dwayne Haskins play. Like, and I'm not talking Dwayne Haskins from 2019. I'm talking Carolina Panthers Dwayne Haskins. I'd rather see that than what I saw today in the Senior Bowl. Newman was so bad today. It was hard to watch. So I would.
It's funny too because I tried to tell people were comparing them to Deshaun Watson. I was like, man, I mean, this is the guy that transferred to Georgia, and I was rooting for him, but he's not that, and that's why I was thinking he may even end up making it to like the third or fourth or fifth round in the quarterback draft. And because it's funny because I haven't seen the Senior Bowl, so I haven't even seen how bad it was. That was just how I felt he was before the Senior Bowl even happened.
Someone said if Slater's there, yeah, I mean, I think Slater's going to probably go top 10, but I wouldn't mind Slater, Darisaw. But yeah, he was so bad. It was like, after seeing that, I don't even know if he gets drafted. Like, what's the guy's name from last year? He played in the Senior Bowl, Tyrese Jackson or something like that. The big guy.
Yeah.
He didn't get drafted, and he played okay. So we're going to try. Hopefully it's not lagging. It's kind of lagging when I stream, but you see Nico Collins there. And there's a guy I really, really like, Cade Johnson. I don't think he played much in the Senior Bowl, but you watch these one-on-one drills, and he just smoked these guys. Here he is. I mean, he was just an absolute beast. So let's go ahead and watch him. Man, see that one-handed catch right there? I don't know if you guys are able to see that, but he just gets so much. You saw it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh,
he gets so much separation too. I mean, and he's going to be a late round guy, but I mean, he won every single rep that I watched. He won every single one. He won. I mean, he's just he and I didn't see him play much in the Senior Bowl, but I mean, you just see this, and I mean, that was a bad ball by the quarterback there, but I mean, he's a beast. He's going to be there's a flag there, but
yeah, there's a flag.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to some comments, and we can go after some other guys. Yeah, Newman was bad. Let's see. Which one would be the better move, to pay the big money to get a big name QB in free agency, or save the money and look to trade up in the draft? Well, Rico wants to trade up if the guy's there. I'd probably rather go for a free agent quarterback, or not free agent necessarily, veteran quarterback, but I agree with Rico. If the guy's there, I'm taking him. I mean, if you have a guy you really like, then I'm fine with trading up for them.
Yeah, don't force it though. Yeah, like don't be like, oh, we need a quarterback. Let's trade up and get one. Make sure like this is your guy. Just like how the Chiefs felt about Pat Mahomes when everybody else thought they reached on him at 10. And why did you trade up to number 10 to get him? He probably would have made it to the second round. Same thing possibly with like Josh Allen may have slid further. People were thinking Deshaun Watson might have slid a little bit further than when the Texans took him. You know what I'm saying? So like as long as it's the guy you believe is great, it doesn't matter what the other 31 teams feel like. If you believe this guy can win you Super Bowls, trade up and take him. And like you said earlier, even if it's more value than we perceive is necessary to give up to trade up to get that guy, if you feel like that's your guy, do it.
Yeah, and John MC Dollar, thank you so much for the $10 donation. Keep up the good work, bro. Thank you so much. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Helps out a ton. And thanks for supporting the channel and coming in here. So, and some quick news. I mean, it's just rumors, right? But Albert Breer, when he was asked where he thinks Matt Stafford will land, and he said Washington. He said if Washington gets Stafford, to expect them to get one of the big name wide receivers in free agency. Hey, if we got Stafford and Galladay, that would be pretty nice. That would be pretty nice.
Yes, sir.
But real quick, guys, do you guys want to watch some more of these one-on-one drills, or do you guys want to talk about something else? Let me just read. Let's see what the response is. Everyone's saying
Stafford. I mean, we have to remember though that Ron Rivera, with our receiving core, possibly even looking, because that was a healthy Kelvin Harmon before the injury. That was Steven Sims before the drop off, and he was still willing to spend $22 million a year on Amari Cooper. So if anything, the receiving core, I wouldn't necessarily say got worse, but Kelvin Harmon is returning from injury. Steven Sims, I don't know what that was last year. He didn't look anywhere near as good as we thought he'd look after his first year. So if he was willing to spend $22 million a year, the previous free agency on Amari Cooper, he's probably willing to spend even more on another guy. So unless he just really liked Amari Cooper specifically, I do feel like we may try to go big on receiver. And then they've already said they're going to swing big on quarterback after we hired Martin Mayhew and Marty Herney. So I feel like I'm pretty out of any of the, if I had to pick two position groups, we go big on free agency and or draft. That means first round, trade up in the first round, or spend big money or trade for one is quarterback and receiver. And then everything else is just after that, after we get those two right.
I agree. Scotty, that would be a great duo right there. Someone asked, what do you think about Stafford and at QB and AJ Green? I mean, AJ Green at wide receiver, it would be okay. If we get him for cheap, I think he's still, though, on the downswing of his career. But, I would be okay with that. Okay, so we're going to go back to some of the 1v1s. It's going to be a little bit laggy, guys, just because I'm streaming right now. But you guys can go ahead and look these up, too. They're all over the internet. Let's see. I want to go to let's see. So let's go.
We've been talking about Matthew Stafford way too much for me not to have this in my lap. Oh, I got my stuff. Got my pillow. And then after AJ Green, I had to go get it. I had to get on my Georgia stuff. But I'm getting all this to basically say no. No, I'm good on AJ Green. As much as I love Georgia, you see all the stuff I have, I still say no to AJ Green, just to let you know. I mean, he's not the same guy. He can't stay healthy. No on AJ Green, please. I love him. Wish him the best, but not my burgundy and gold are priority. Georgia's second. That's all I care about. My burgundy and gold.
You guys see right here some of these guys. Frank Darby versus Trey Brown right here. There's a pick right there by Trey Brown. The quarterbacks were not good, by the way, in these drills. In the game, I thought Ellinger was okay. Kellen Mond. Oh, this is I don't know how to pronounce his name. Demetric Felton from UCLA is switching from running back to receiver. So the opposite of Gibson. Had a touchdown in the game today. Pretty solid. Deep threat. You see right there. I mean, just killed the cornerback and bad throw, but still was able to catch it right there really quick. Right there, able to get some separation.
And the move afterwards, too. I like that,
too. He kind of caught his touchdown in open space and then made a move and got into the end zone today. Let's see.
And that was an underthrown ball, that previous rep.
Yeah.
And then his separation is crazy.
There's just so many late round receivers that it's really, unless one of the big three receivers fall, there's no reason to draft a receiver in the first round. This guy right here, Fitzpatrick, he had a really, really good game. I'm going to go back to the comments because it's been a while. Let me just saw a donation. Oscar Jose Montuel, What do you guys think about Corey Davis as a potential number 2 receiver? Shout out to Oscar. Make sure you guys check out his channel. He's a Washington football team YouTuber. He posts other sports stuff too. Great channel. And Corey Davis would be good. I think it's going to cost a lot of money, but if we could get him, I would like that. Like him with Terry, that would be a really, really good receiving core. And then you have, Kelvin Harmon, Cam Sims, maybe AGG, whoever else you have there. That's some good depth. Appreciate the donation. And I would love Corey Davis. Make sure you guys check out his channel.
I believe that would be the smartest move, just because like you win Super Bowls from having the best team overall. Like if you, a team that has Julio, D-Hop, and Terry McLaurin on it at the same time, but your linebacking core, your cornerback core, and all of these other position groups are just below average or bad. You can't win like that. So I feel like Corey Davis is like the perfect solution for as far as money goes. We need a number 2 guy opposite of Terry McLaurin. And again, like weeks ago, I couldn't give an answer on that because I just hadn't paid attention to Corey Davis. But I finally, like a little over last week, finally looked at his tape from last season with the Titans. And yeah, man, I'm definitely all in for like a Corey Davis opposite of Terry McLaurin. Of course, Allen Robinson is just a better receiver in general, but he's going to cost too much. So I feel like the way you have to allocate your resources with a salary cap type of league, Corey Davis is just the smartest way to go. That way we got more money to pay other positions.
Yeah. Reg said pick up the wide receiver second round from Ohio State. Olave, he returned to school, so he's not gonna be in the draft this year. Some people are gonna call it a stupid decision. Some people are gonna say it's smart. It's tough to say because this wide receiver class is so stacked that he's probably gonna go second round. Maybe he would have went late first. Next year, though, if he stays healthy and plays solid, he's gonna be a top 15-ish picker. He's gonna probably be a top 3 wide receiver in the class. So let's go back to some of the 1v1s. And again, it's going to be hard to read comments because I'm in another tab. So I'll come in every few plays. So here's Fitzpatrick. Had a really good game today. Did have a drop or so, but he was getting a bunch of separation, getting a bunch of – he beat the guy there. It was an overthrow. But, he didn't do that great in the 1v1s, but in the game today, he was one of the better receivers out there. The quarterback just can't hit.
You can't build momentum like this. Like you can't get into the groove of these drills, and the quarterback is missing the throws like this.
Here's Sage Surratt. I don't know if he played today. I don't know. But he has some nice reps. I want to go to another one. I'm gonna go. So it might be a while, but I'm going to try to go to the other receivers. This one, Amari Rogers, I'm going to go back to the comments, but I was just watching this. I was watching this like a few days ago, and Amari Rogers caught my eyes right away. Let's see. What's up, Big Simple? Make sure you guys check him out. Great Washington football team YouTuber as well. We lit. Let's see. Okay, so let's go into some of the wait, someone said as a Clemson fan, I wanted him to leave badly. Who did you want to leave? Powell or Rogers? Let's look at Amari Rogers. Oh, you were talking about Olave. Okay, I get it. So this is Amari Rogers. I know he had 1 touchdown today and a 2-point conversion too, but look at the separation he gets. You just watch him in these videos. Look at that catch.
That started so slow too. That started so slow. That was so weird.
I want to go back to that. It lagged a bit, but he got jammed up a little bit by the cornerback, beats him, and it's an underthrow. And he's still able to catch it.
Oh, and that release right there was beautiful. Yeah, he's gone. Terrible
quarterback again.
Oh my Lord, terrible.
Look at that. He's getting like 7 yards separation. Yeah. The quarterback still can't throw it to him.
Sean Davis can't. This is dark.
That one was not I mean, he should have probably caught it. Wasn't a great ball, but still, I mean, he just
It seemed like he like over jumped, like he jumped too high for. He didn't need to jump that high. Like it ended up hitting his chest because he jumped so high, and it was a weird.
here's another guy, Palmer, really good. You saw that route right there. He's a big. Let me go back to that, but he's a big guy. He's a huge guy, but he had a touchdown today, I think.
What is all of that separation off rip? Why is he playing such off man? Why is he so far?
No, maybe they told him to do that. Maybe they said like, okay, they're going to be running deeper routes. Let me see if any of these comments, if I missed anything. Philippi, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Rounds 1 to 7, best player available. I want Ron to get his guy. Hope he doesn't. Yeah, hey, we're failed. I mean, we're going to be doomed if Dan makes another. If Dan is able to make another pick.
You know,
And yeah, I think you go best player available, especially if you have a quarterback you really like. I think you definitely go after. And I think, yeah, BPA, I think I would say like you got three. If you go like, okay, these are the best 5 players available at this position. Let's say you're the 3rd round, but maybe 2 of those players are defensive linemen, then you go to the more position and need. But yeah, you don't want to reach just because of the position, but you
agreed.
also obviously don't want to get a guy that you already have filled at the position unless it's a late round, super late round guy. But yeah, I agree. Get the best player, the most talented player available. So let's watch some more. Here's the Josh Palmer. Look at these strides on this route. Like his strides are just like, and then just boom. And just, I mean, these cornerbacks, at least in the 1v1 drills, were just awful. This is the thing I don't get about this drill, right? Why, if the guy's going to run a super short route, why is the cornerback giving him 10 yards of separation?
It seems like if they tell the corner that be that far back, they wouldn't call a dig or a slant, whatever that was. Like they would call
Like,
something else.
I could run this and catch it. Look at I mean,
Yeah.
anyone in the world could do that.
Yeah, this isn't anything noteworthy to look at off of. I don't know what that is.
And they're finally
Oh,
playing up more. And he's able to make that catch. He's pretty physical. Um,
dang.
he's a
Okay,
big
he
guy.
hurt the corner right there. He hurt the corner right there. Corner
Yeah.
was little for a second.
That look at that. That's a
Yeah,
big
it's not a
time
lot of
catch.
separation. It's just physical. He's just a great. He's really physical. He's not getting a lot of separation, but like he's physical enough to at the end, like right before the ball gets there, he's separating right just in time type of thing. He's gonna probably require a quarterback that can trust him type of thing.
Yeah, exactly, Philip B. So here's Kadarius Toney, who could be an option for us. He beats him a little bit. That's a little bit of a push off right there, but
Good way to
uh,
track the ball down. That was
yeah, great catch right there, creating a bunch of separation. I don't. A lot of people have him at 19 to us. I don't. If there he got held right there. He got held. Look at that. He got held right there. He got held right there. Pushed right there. But if we're gonna receiver at 19, for me, it's gotta be one of the big 3, which is probably not going to be available, but still. Here's Shea Smith, who had a good game as well. I mean, all of these receivers are just creating so much separation. You see that catch right there. That's a big time catch. But yeah, I mean, I like that they make this available like to the public easily. Like you can just watch all of this tape right here. Richie Grant, I mean, he just got killed right there. But I mean, I think he got like named. I don't know what he got named, but he got like named like the best. I'm not sure. Like he had a good Senior Bowl, like apparently.
Okay.
Just definitely not on that play. Let's see. Let's see. But yeah, there's a lot. That's the thing. A lot of late round receivers that you can go after. So that's why I'm not sweating if we don't go after one in the first round. There's another Clemson receiver, Cornell Powell. There you go, right there. A nice catch by him there. I mean, there's a lot of different type of receivers here. That's a super good route. Good catch too. I mean, these are big time guys right here. I mean, there's a lot of good players available here. Again, like I don't know what that drill hit there is.
No,
Like
what is that? What is he supposed to do? What is the corner
they need to
supposed
be doing this every time. Okay, so I want to go back real quick. Let's see. Are there any other big name guys here? I'm gonna go back to. I want to see Amari Rogers again. Oh wait, is that Rashad Bateman?
to just noticed that was DJ Daniel out there too, my boy.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to see Amari Rogers again, and then we'll read some of the. Well, I'll read some comments right now, see if I missed anything. Yeah, Cornell is good. I mean, I think a mid-round receiver is the move. That's my opinion. I'm fine with going in the first round, but I'd rather not. I just want to watch Amari Rogers again. Him and K Johnson are my like. I think K Johnson gonna be a late round pick, but Amari Rogers might rise up. I mean, the separation he's creating, and like, I mean,
That ball, that
yeah.
throw.
Again, another one. It's like the
Why?
guy the
He's so
guy
open. How do you
he's
miss
so open. He throws
that?
like a 90-mile fastball and it's not even on target.
He's too open to overthrow that. Like, come on now, that's ridiculous.
And the thing is like with the routes that they're trying to make him do, like if he just goes straight like on a streaker fly route right here, he's got him beat by more than a step.
It's
You
a
see him
great
right here?
point.
He just
Yeah,
goes straight and it's a touchdown, but he's forced to run this route right here. But I mean, he's super fast, would be a good slot wide receiver.
he's an
Uh,
aggressive catcher too. He's catching it with his hands. He's not letting it hit his chest. I hate that in receivers. Some receivers, if they make it work, but that's where them random inconsistent drops come from out of nowhere.
yeah, so I want to get a wide receiver mid rounds. Out of those guys, who did you like the most? I think we saw Amari Rogers, Josh Palmer, I think that's his name. K Johnson. Any guys stand out in particular, or on the defensive side too?
With like no prior knowledge of anybody, like just no
Yeah, just
bias coming
watching
in.
on the tape right here.
Yeah, just the tape. Definitely this guy. Definitely this guy's been the most fun to watch. I mean, some of those guys were good separators, and I forgot his name. That like he wasn't able to separate, but he knew how at the last second to get an open enough to where it's like a easier catch. It wasn't even necessarily contested catches because the corner was there, but at the last second he would get like a nice little body movement and get open. That was pretty nice too. But this right here with the, I mean, just killing the corner, nice catches, going up and getting it, aggressive hands catcher. That he looks the most complete so far out of this group.
Yeah, and there was definitely. I mean, first off, I mean, you guys all know, but Senior Bowls are only for seniors in college, so none of the underclassmen, the juniors, or even the sophomores that redshirted 1 year, they weren't able to play. So there's a bunch of guys here that didn't play. So there's a lot of other guys: Rashad Bateman,
And
Terrence
like you said,
Marshall.
Devonta Smith, he's basically just there just to shake hands with people.
Yeah. Brandon, I heard about Eskridge. I don't. He was at the Senior Bowl. I heard he was really good. I don't know if he played. I didn't hear anything about him today, so he might not have played. I'm not sure, but yeah, I heard he did really good in practice. So okay, we're gonna take a couple more questions, and then we're gonna go ahead and end the stream. And it's gonna be interesting this week because I do think Stafford's gonna get traded. There's been reports like Ian Rappaport said he's probably gonna get traded before the Super Bowl, so we might get our answer this week. And
That's wild.
whether he's traded to us or he's traded to another team, and if he's traded to us, I mean, it's probably gonna. That's the thing. If we give up a first round pick, then it's kind of like anticlimactic to the draft. Like we're not gonna have a first round pick, so it's not gonna be as exciting, which does like kind of suck, but it would still be nice.
Yeah.
It would be fun. It would be better if we could give up like a 2022 first round pick, just because I want to be excited now. Or if we could give up like a second. I mean, it's gonna probably take a first and more, but if we could package like a second and a third, because we have 2/3 and like maybe something else too. LC says we're not getting Stafford, not even top 5 on his. The thing is, it doesn't matter what his preferred destination is because he doesn't have a no trade clause. He doesn't have a no trade clause, so he can't decide where he's going to go. They're going to trade him to whoever gets him the best value or something like that. So they're not going to be like, oh, Stafford wants to go to the 49ers and they offer him two third-round picks and someone else is offering a first-round pick. They're going to give it to the team that offers a first-round pick. That's how it works. So King Sean said, what's your prediction for the Super Bowl?
Mine's is 31-24 Chiefs.
31. I'm not going to give mine out yet because I'm still deciding and I want to keep my record good because I think I've only missed 2 games this year, like predicting wise. I missed the for playoffs. I picked the Seahawks to beat the Rams, and then I picked the Ravens to beat the Bills. That's the only 2 games I got wrong. So I don't know. I think it's going to be closer than people think. I think the Bucks have a chance. I still not going to put my prediction out yet because I think that there's still injury stuff out. So if AB plays, if Winfield plays, we'll see about the Chiefs' offensive line situation. They have a chance. So it's going to be a good game. I mean, this is like if MJ and LeBron played each other in the finals when MJ was still like in his prime because Brady's not in his prime, but he's still putting up 40-something touchdowns he had this year and like 10 interceptions. I mean, that's like really, really good high-level quarterback play. So, I mean, it's going to be a fun game, hopefully. And it's like
way better than the Patriots Rams. That was the worst thing I've ever. Boy,
like if Brady wins, I mean, he's gonna have 7 Super Bowls. It's undisputed GOAT, and there's gonna be almost no chance for Mahomes to catch him because, I mean, not only is Brady gonna have 7 Super Bowls, but he can say, I was 43, Mahomes was 25, and I beat him in the Super Bowl. And I also 2 years before that beat him in the AFC Championship to win the Super Bowl. So he has even if he wins 6, 7 Super Bowls, Mahomes does, or 5 Super Bowls, because it's so hard to win 7. I don't think he really has an argument to beat or to be the GOAT. So we're gonna go ahead and end the stream, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming in here, and thank you, Rico Street Scores. Make sure you guys check out his channel. Great Washington football team YouTuber, putting out free agency content, putting out draft content, putting out a bunch of stuff. And yeah, thank you guys for coming in here, and thank you guys all for the support. And we'll have some draft content coming in here. Rico got that Georgia Bulldogs out there. So yeah, guys, thanks for coming in here. Thank you, Christian, Duck, Big Simple, Asan. Let's see, I'm gonna read some more comments. Philip B, King Sean, Brandon, G4 Life, Tommy T, Arthur. Again, appreciate all you guys for coming in here. And subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.